Okay, everybody, welcome to today's Local Yokels Podcast. I'm Neil Colley, your host, bringing you individuals, businesses, stories of people doing great things in our community. That's kind of what we're trying to do, is just spotlight folks. So with that being said, I usually kind of intro with my advertisers, so I should do that now. Obviously, RoofWorks Roofing Company, that helps us a ton on everything we do. Look for them at roofworksmidsouth.com. Josh over there at 662-303-0345. And, of course, Feed My Lambs is kind of like where I focus all my efforts on fundraising. You can reach them at 662-781-1333. Also at minormemorial.org/lambs. And with that being said, we're going to have this year's Feed My Lambs fundraiser on October 11th between 10 and 3. We have a car show. We have a bunch of good food, lots of people, amazing individuals out there trying to help the community. And we're giving away our truck, a 78 C10 Resto Mod. Beautiful truck. Yeah. And for $100 you can win it. So go on the website or call me 662-404-2364. Feed My Lambs on Facebook, minormemorial.org/lambs. You can buy a ticket there. Also pre-ordering barbecue butts as we normally do for Fancy Nancy's Barbecue. But we're going to have bee nutrition there, Mai Tais, Polynesian barbecue, and sipping lemonade, which I actually have a cup of theirs today. So it's amazing. Go try it. They're local. All these people are local that I have involved because I'm all about the local. It's the Local Yokel Show, Brian.
Amen.
So, without further ado, my guest today, Brian Patterson with PetWorx.
Thank you.
Welcome, Brian.
Thank you
do
for having
other
us.
things, but just so people know, you are also the gutter man. Your business.
On Monday through Friday, yep. So
Yeah.
we are the gutter man.
The gutter man. So you do, that's, partially how I know you, but you started up this nonprofit a few years back called PetWorx. And that's why I got you in today, is really to focus on that, because obviously our pets are super important to most of us, but there is a dark side to this, to where
There is.
people don't maintain their animals for whatever reason. People move, people die, people get tired of them, people are not good people. lots of all that stuff. But that's where your organization, you seen, you can just tell me the backstory of what you seen, the need for PetWorx.
Yeah, and it's funny because it starts out just as basic as it can be, right? You see a dog on the side of the road, you stop. You want to feed it. You want to take care of it. You pick it up. You take it home. And then, tomorrow you could do the same thing and the next. And so my wife and I both, felt this kind of pull at our heartstrings. And so the next thing you know, more her than me, but, volunteering at local shelters, rescues, trying to get involved in the community and trying to make a change, right? Make something better. And then you find out, man, there's rescues that are they're dying. They're all packed. They're at double, triple capacity.
With no resources.
Almost all of them are all fully funded by donations, fundraising, for whatever it is. None of them have a steady stream or income. And so you find out that there's this, you're right, this dark side, this need. And then we wanted to help. We wanted to do something too. And so you start trying to think about what is it that you could do. And so we thought maybe we could come up with an organization that would be like an umbrella organization, and we could be that help, that we could be something that was structured that might lend a hand. But the biggest problem we saw first off was there's an overpopulation, a huge overpopulation of strays. So we started our spay neuter initiative. That's also for us. Everything is funded by fundraisers and donors and donations. But we raised money and we went out and we started doing these low-cost spay neuter clinics. We just finished our third one. And so we've done about 70 dogs and cats.
Wow.
All funded through our donors. We partnered with the mayor of Hernando, Chip Johnson, and
Shout out to Chip.
Yeah. And we partnered with the City of Hernando Animal Shelter and the director there, Jessica Green, and so they were on board with our mission as well. Chip was, Jessica was, and so we were able to utilize our board with vets and do these spay neuter clinics and offer them at a low cost for low income families here in DeSoto County. So that was one of the big things that we really wanted to do. And then our board came together and we worked on things like we have a coloring book that we published. We also wanted to try to attack the problem with the youth and teach them better pet ownership and things that they could do. And so we wanted to make sure that we had educational stuff out there, trying to publish some PDFs and stuff on our website for just adult pet owners, things that they need to
Real
expect.
quickly, as we say that, we want people to go to your website.
Please.
It's PetWorx Foundation at gmail.com.
That's our email address.
PetWorx, WORX, not K.
That's right.
So .foundation at gmail.com.
Yeah, that's our email address. You can go to petworx.org as our website.
Again, with an X, not a K.
That's right. And you can look us up on Instagram and Facebook, and we do encourage everyone, please try to find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, like our stuff, share our stuff.
Would you say the majority of your stuff, Brian, is local? That you're working on?
Yeah, tri-state area, right?
Yeah, right. So the same thing I'm doing. Like, we're trying to help organizations in our community.
Yes.
So the tri-state area. So it could be a Tunica Foundation. Like, the Tunica Humane Society is huge, man. Like, she's doing amazing stuff down there. Probably one of the biggest shelters there is, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and so, when we started, that's what we looked at, was that, we could raise some money and we could shelter some dogs, and then 40 or 50 dogs or cats later, we'd be full.
Yeah.
We'd be strapped.
Sure.
So that's why we decided to do it this way, as a support organization.
Yeah.
So we do not house a single animal. That is not what we do. But again, we do fundraise to do the things like spay neuter. We also have a food donation program. So we're supplying food to shelters like Tunica, like, other.
Horn Lake.
We do mostly private shelters, not city-owned.
Okay.
Or government-owned. But
believe it or not, I think people would be amazed how many private shelters there are out there.
There's so many, and they're so strapped.
Private rescues.
Yep. And street feeders.
And street feeders.
Yep.
Yes.
We've got street feeders that we try to help, because, again, a group of hungry dogs in a neighborhood could be a detriment to a young child.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So full dogs with full tummies are happy dogs.
Yeah.
So, we may not can get them all off the street, but at least if we can help supplement food to those street feeders so that those dogs aren't starving, then maybe we don't have accidents.
Right.
I think dogs, get a bad rap sometimes, and I think it's just a product of their environment. And so we want to change that environment. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing is we've got to change the South overall. We need better laws, and we're working for that. We need to do more spay and neutering so we don't have this huge overpopulation.
I would say with 70 spay or neuters, that could be thousands of pets.
Yeah, and that's only in 3 clinics.
Right, just in 3 clinics. Just look at that impact just on this starting your adventure,
It dominoes very quickly.
I go back to the early 80s, me and my pawpaw Chigger sitting on a summer morning watching The Price is Right. And Bob Barker going, don't forget to spay and neuter. And I kept thinking, why is he so big on that? Because as a kid, I didn't understand. But then you get older, you realize it's a real issue.
It is a real issue.
It really is, because
and unfortunately in the South, it's much worse. That's why you see a lot of people equally talk about transports, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of animals from the South that get transported up to the North because they don't have the overpopulation. They have better laws.
Sure.
Here we've got so many just between backyard breeders and just irresponsible owners. And then again, just all the abandoned dogs that are on the street. I mean, the big thing, of course, Mass and Memphis and there's probably 20,000 animals in Memphis that are on the street. It's a massive number.
It is.
And even in DeSoto County, there's still thousands.
Yeah, there is.
And so, the trap, neuter, release, even that, and you've got rescues that are trying to do that. So anything that we can do to help out.
When you say trap, neuter, release, is that back on the streets?
Yeah, so you've got colonies of like cats that live in trailer parks and stuff.
Sure.
So there's definitely rescues trying to do that too.
Okay, so not necessarily adopt, but put them in a better place.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And at least stop the overpopulation.
Yes.
So at whatever the current number is, we can stop that from growing.
Well, like I just talked about, 70 pets you spayed and neutered, just a couple of clinics, thousands of controlled
potential unwanted pets that would be out on the street. And we're already planning our next. I don't want to give out the date. We'll advertise that on our Facebook page. Please go to petworx.org and click on our Facebook link.
And I'll continue to follow, and if they pop something up, I'll share it on my platforms just so people know what's going on, because this is a huge thing. Like, I'm all about the kids, and you've been helping me ever since I got started. You're buying food, you're coming up. Every time I told you about female lambs, you're like, yeah, I'll come by, I'll get this, I'll get that. And then I turn. But anyway, the point is, there's another side to this with the kids. We have to learn to educate them as well. And hunger is a big issue with them, lack of resources. I've got a dog at my house right now. It's his house. We just exist in it. You know what I mean? So he's a fortunate dude. You know what I mean? His name is Garth. And I start to wonder who owns the house at times. However, I think a lot of us are that way. We have these amazing pets that are like family to us, but then there's a lot of people that move. And
look, there's a lot of amazing pets out there, future pets.
Yeah, future pets.
And so we all try to.
He was a rescue, by the way.
Good. Yeah. Both of mine are rescues. Yeah. You would not know that if you met them.
Well, mine either. Yeah, mine either. Like I said, he's picky, but like I said, it goes back to like teaching the children, like you were talking about, through having a coloring book that can excite them about something.
Not only about pet ownership, but even if they know, hey, it's not okay to leave your dog chained to a tree without water or without shade.
Especially around here.
Yeah. And so, things like that they may not know.
Yeah.
And we want them to know.
Or systematically, they might have been, that's how they were brought up. They saw it. So, but not to repeat that. That's not okay to see that.
And it's not, but they don't know.
They don't know.
And so that's why we try to get out there to the festivals, pass out this,
Did you grow up around here?
I did.
All right. So I grew up in Alabama, and I can remember everybody. I don't know if anybody had an inside dog when I was a kid. That was a new phenomenon as I was coming up through the 80s. You know what I mean?
And, but in the South, again, you're right. That's a country mentality.
It really
right?
was, and then you'd be chained up with this big logging chain to a tree. And you never thought much about him because he just existed and he'd bark at you when he ride by on your bike. But in reality, Joker's probably miserable, looking back on it.
But a lot of people have them back then and even today. That's the best security system you've got, right?
It is, yeah.
I got a mean dog chained to the tree. You're not going to come break in my house.
Right, but I'm the kind of guy, I would want him to be comfortable. So, I would have an AC unit, and I'm like, look, keep your head poked out the doghouse if I'm going to chain you up. You know what I mean? But I'm going to have an AC blowing on you, but you need to run out there and do your job and then come back and get cool again.
Unfortunately, mine are on the couch upside down asleep watching soap
That's probably where mine's right now. Yeah. Thinking about what he's going to steal off the counter. Yeah, for sure. But I love the fact that you're educating and you thought of this thing. Would you say, how old is the PetWorx now? Is it 2 years?
So actually formed March of last year. Okay. And so we're about a year and a half into this.
Gotcha.
And honestly, it was just, a group of volunteers, animal control officers. We had a couple vets, a teacher. But everybody had a common denominator, and that was just a love of animals.
Yeah.
And to advocate for those that didn't have a voice.
Sure.
So PetWorx was formed, and we knew kind of what we wanted to do. I guess every day and every month that can change. Mm-hmm. But the common, the love of just, trying to help these animals brought us all together and gave us the ability to have a good group that we could do the programs, the spay neuter, the education,
food security,
our food donation program. I think that we're up to about 14 or 15 different rescues and street feeders that we're helping pretty much on a regular basis.
Right. And they got to have it.
They got to have it. They got to have it.
And everybody, that's one thing when I got started about where do I put my efforts the most. Well, my passion was the children. Your passion is also children, but dogs also.
Just furry ones.
It's the furry ones too.
My kids always said I love my dogs more than them.
Yeah, probably true.
They didn't like it when I agreed with them,
but the fact of the matter is it's educating your children to take care of something you're responsible with. It doesn't have a voice.
That's right.
You know what I mean? All they're looking for is some affection, some food.
Man.
And they're going to give you back 100% unconditional love.
And you adopt one from a shelter or rescue, and they love you twice as much as anything you can buy.
Man, yeah.
And so every animal that's at a rescue's got a backstory. They can't tell it to us.
No.
We wish they could.
We're guessing
right?
most of the time.
But most of the time it's not good.
Right.
And so, I tell everybody, just remember that. Be patient with them. We want everyone to adopt, but just know that they've probably had a bad, whatever that bad story is.
Sure.
from abuse to neglect to whatever. So it takes time for them to adjust, but eventually they will melt into your couch more than you ever get to. And so give them time. But at the end of the day, that's the goal, right, is to lower the number of unwanted pets and to help get the ones that are here transported or adopted or just somebody that can love them.
Right. And I know that there's lots of efforts being placed in DeSoto County for sure on updating their shelters. I know that Hernando's done it, Horn Lake's done it. I know the county shelter is pretty new overall comparatively.
I think Olive Branch just built a new one.
So the efforts to go, like it is something that's being paid attention to. And then you got these local rescues that work with the shelters, by the way, that do some, I think it's almost like fostering.
So you've got a lot of individuals that foster both for the shelters and for these rescues.
Exactly.
I know of one rescue that is 100% foster based.
Wow.
So they don't have a building, right?
Sure.
But they've got them,
in their house. And,
they got in their houses and everywhere else. And
I got a friend that does that. Him and his wife have
That's
them.
right.
Yeah.
And so we agreed to do that for one of my dogs, Ginger. We did that about 5 years ago. She was having a really bad time at the shelter, shutting down. The loud noise, it was just too much. Don't really know the bad backstory, but there was a bad one. So there was some abuse, and she was just breaking down. So we thought we'd take her for a 30-day run, see if we could get her adopted. That was 5 years ago.
She's still with you.
So that's called a foster fail.
That's right. Yeah.
But
a full-time family member at the Patterson house. So is she sleeping between you and the wife nowadays?
No, she has her own couch.
Oh, so she has her whole own.
Yeah. So when you go furniture buying at our house, Stacy and I get a couch, and then the dogs get their couches. So
and I've been to your home, so it's a beautiful place. So I know that you think about a lot of them. You're thinking a lot of them when you let them do that.
That's right.
By the way, that's how you and I met. I do gravel work and stuff, and you call me, reference from somebody else, probably, I don't know who, but we met through, you were a customer of mine.
Many months ago.
And then I become a customer of yours.
Yep.
You do gutters for roofs and do high quality stuff, and I referred you a ton of friends, and you do a lot of that.
Thank you.
That's what affords you to do what you do with PetWorx. And I know that because it takes a lot of your own money and effort to make these things go. I totally get it. Yeah, I do.
Anybody that's in any nonprofit world knows that it's a personal give first and foremost, right?
It's always out of pocket.
Always.
As much as you can raise, there's always something going in.
That's right.
With the fundraisers, how I do mine, and it's ever growing. I got this one spot, but we are doing something similar to what you did. I love the fact you started this as like an umbrella. We're kind of going to start a nonprofit this year with the vehicles, and we're going to call it the Fancy Nancy Foundation, to where we give away raffle off vehicles to raise money for just unlimited nonprofits. It don't have to be Feed My Lambs. We're going to start one to where, of course, we're going to continue to fundraise for them, but it may be something like what you're doing, to where we say, hey, man, they need an infusion of cash to help this. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about, this networking of nonprofits to where we can help secure the community in a better way. So that was kind of, part of this as well, was that each of these rescues seem like they're their own little island. Yeah.
Right. And everybody's fighting over the same resources. It doesn't matter whether it's your nonprofit, ours, we're all fighting over the same resource pool. And so everyone's out there on their own little island.
They are. And not everybody's good at the fundraising side.
And we're all struggling. And so we just thought again that if we could share some love and we could support that, that might give each of them a little bridge.
Sure. Something.
And so that's kind of where this all, it culminated into that.
Yeah.
And we just want to keep doing the same thing, helping our community, offering more spay and neuter clinics.
Right. And I'm going to have y'all at our fundraiser this year. You and I talked about that, coming out and educating the public a little bit about what PetWorx is. And then you can obviously contact them if you're in a position. They can tell you if you qualify or not for their next spay and neuter program. And we're going to be in the Walls community doing it that day, which gives them a fantastic resource for the western side of the county.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I personally will be at that festival.
Yeah,
so
you will.
Please come see me.
I appreciate you on that.
And so that's right.
Because Brian's trying to win the truck, by the way. He didn't tell you that. But no, you always support us.
We're going to use it to move a little dog food around town.
Definitely. We're going to put a wagon behind it.
Yeah, just going to move it faster.
Yes, extremely fast.
Extremely fast.
Yeah. So, but it's an amazing organization. Again, a much needed thing that I'm not aware of. When you first started it, I thought, okay, he's in with the dog kennel, or something like that. At the same time, there was a lot of talk about Horn Lake and Hernando both building new shelters when you first started this thing. So I was kind of confused on the like what PetWorx was. And then I read up on it a little bit more, and then I got to talking to you a little bit. And then about a week ago or so, I called you, and we were talking about it. And you probably thought I was calling about female lambs, and I was, but I was calling more interested in what you were doing with PetWorx because I wanted to focus on something that wasn't human driven like we've done every time on this show.
Right.
This is the first time I've done anything that's about animals, and animals, I love them. I mean, I do. I love dogs and cats and horses and not a big fan of goats, but I do like goats. I just don't want no goats. Them dudes are the devil, like they're something else. But anyway, animals are important. If you're going to take one, it's your responsibility to maintain
right.
it.
That's right. That's what you hate to see. You hate to hear the stories you see on Facebook of, there's a house on the street and somebody moved out and they left the dog locked inside.
Or 20.
Or locked in the backyard.
Something, man.
With no food, no water, abandoned. When you move, when you get a dog, whether you buy one or adopt one or a cat, that's a lifelong commitment for that animal.
Yeah, absolutely. And
you can't adopt a puppy and then let his puppy years go by, his most adoptable years go by, and now he's old and he's gray or whatever, and it's like, well, now you're done.
That's when he needs it the most.
That's when he needs it the most.
For sure.
And so you can't move on. So again, that's what all these rescues are doing. So that's why we're trying to do the spay neuter so we don't have as many.
Sure.
And then do the food program.
It's a lot of work. And then I know the cities, I'm sure all the mayors are interested in what you're doing too, because it's something they combat on a regular basis.
Yeah, we were blessed when Chip agreed to do this with us. Yeah. And so, again, and I shouldn't say Chip, I should say Mayor Johnson. So well,
we know him as a friend personally,
right.
but outside
Chip
of
is
work.
a great guy, but Chip also donates his personal funds to our organization. Yes. So he believes in our mission.
He gets it.
But he believes in his community.
Let's not forget his driving partner, Miss Christy Savage Johnson.
That's right.
She's really probably the one you should be thanking the most.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but to partner with the city, and we were tickled when he did that because that just gave more legitimacy to what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
People don't partner with the city unless they're legit.
That's right.
And so like I said, and our next clinic is going to be back at the Hernando Animal Shelter again. Mm-hmm. So that they're just willing to be there on our team, and that's the building we use. They've got the surgery center, and so it's really great that they're doing that.
Now, do people need to be a citizen of Hernando for this service?
Of DeSoto County.
DeSoto
that's
County.
Right. And
okay.
so Chip kept it real simple. We're just helping our DeSoto County family, our local community. I don't know the exact cutoff on the financial side.
Right.
Depends on your family number and income.
Sure.
So if you make $500,000, do not apply.
Yeah. Probably don't need to go here. We need to go to your local vet.
That's right. Go to your local vet.
Yeah, go to your local. Because there's plenty of good vets around.
There are some good vets.
This is just for people who the obstacle is financial.
That's it.
Because it costs a lot of money to maintain a pet sometimes.
And we're basically the owner gets to pay $50.
Yeah.
And PetWorx writes the check for the rest.
Right. What would you say an average spay or neuter costs these days?
Oh goodness, for cats and anywhere from $150 to $300.
Wow. Depending on the size of the animal.
Yeah, it depends on the size, whether it's, females are more difficult than males.
Pregnant.
Or if there's any complications.
Yeah.
So certain dogs, certain breeds can be more than others. And so, being able to offer that for just $50.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so we feel like that, we don't do that yet for any rescues or shelters. This is all just for low-income families.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're going to target some groups. We want to do one for seniors, and just a spay-neuter clinic just for seniors.
Sure.
And then we've got one planned next year for vets. So we want to take care of our veterans.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we want to strategically pick some groups that we'd like to target to help.
Yeah.
And make it just for them and
that's
make a
amazing.
day just for them. And
that's a great thing you're doing.
So that's why we need people, again, to go to PetWorx with an X, PetWorx.org.
Yep.
Click on our links to Facebook and Instagram. Please like our pages. Please donate if you feel compelled.
Volunteer.
That's
a thing. Spread the word. I always tell people, like, in any capacity when these nonprofits we're all dealing with.
That's it.
It's not always money.
No.
Because we know that's the essential thing we need to make them work. But it's not for us. I always try to tell people, but spreading the word, getting involved, volunteering, donating a little food,
anything,
$5, it's a huge deal.
I was going to say a bag of food, a financial, all of that, and we're 100%. All of that funding goes back into our program.
Yeah,
so
there's nobody.
There's no administrative costs. There's no, I think about the only thing we pay for is our website hosting, and that's, other than that, it's all donation.
Right.
So
absolutely, and you got to build a program to where you can start using resources to do things outside of buying the food and donating to the programs. I mean, it has to be around for a while for that to happen. I know with our own program, just in the last couple of years that we've been involved in, they're in the black enough to where they can't afford to, fund. What I mean by this is like promotional stuff. Like, so when you go to do something, it's not coming out of my pocket personally
anymore.
And now they can afford to a little bit of like, I told them the other day, I was like, need to order some T-shirts. And then in the past, I just pay for them. You know what I mean? And then I let them have the money. Well, this time, I'm like, y'all need to go buy you some T-shirts because I think you're in a position to do that now.
That's right.
That kind of stuff. So
and then you'll make enough money to cover that.
That's right.
And you're right.
Yeah.
And that financial comfort zone, that stability is nice.
Yeah.
All organizations work towards
We
that.
work towards it, man. And I think you've seen, Brian, like you've been a friend of mine on Facebook and a friend of mine the whole time I've been involved. The work I put into that and just trying to call every human being I know,
it's hard.
And it's very difficult. And you're like, you got friends that go, oh, Jesus, would he stop? Like, when does he stop? And I'm like, I can't. There's little children at play. We're trying to feed them, man. So look, just take your blinders off for a second and realize there's something out here beyond you and your TV or your struggle you're going through. There are, as bad as you think you got it, there's somebody that's got it worse.
Somebody's got it worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And same thing with animals. For every good story about Garth on the couch upside down with his bone in his mouth right now thinking about what he's going to steal off our counters, there's the dog that every bite of food they get or water they drink either have a mud hole or a dirty dish. Or
there are definitely dogs that are roaming the streets right now wondering where their next meal will come from.
And they're scavengers. And the word hangry, I love that. When you talk the Snickers commercials, the hangry, it's true. When you're hungry like that, you are aggressive, you're on the fence. They're probably worried about not only trying to worry about where their food's coming from, but is somebody going to hurt them?
So that was one of the things when we started the food program. Yes, we wanted to help all of our local rescues that needed that help and fosters, but we selected some street feeders that we really wanted.
How do you find them? Like, you just kind of see them in operation?
And, and it's funny. It's not like there's a Yellow Pages, right?
But, or even a Facebook.
But then when you're in rescue, like everybody kind of knows everybody.
Okay.
And so it doesn't take long to work around or hear, or just like, on Facebook, you get a recommendation for this person that knows this person, and then you see them post. And so we'd see rescues post, hey, we need food. And then next thing you know is like, well, here's this individual. And, I feed 100 cats a night, and you're going, wow, really?
That is crazy.
And so there's a lady in Memphis that we help.
Yeah.
And her and her mom, and it's every day in some of the roughest parts of Memphis, and they're feeding animals. I mean, I don't know how many just pounds of food that they give out. So there's a ton of animals that would starve every day if she didn't go out and feed. Yeah. And so we're trying to supplement that too, because you're right. When you say hangry, I don't need those dogs being mad.
No. Well, then they become a nuisance, like in a different way.
And you would hate for someone, again, kids out playing. Oh, man, it would just break my heart if a kid got bit by a dog that's probably a good dog, but he's just suffering. Yeah. And he's just a product of the streets and of his environment.
Sure. You don't know what he's been through. Around here, we got to worry about, are they bait dogs? And people don't know what that is. That's where they use them to train fighting dogs, and they just let them attack them and almost kill them.
And so when you look at the 20,000 dogs that are loose in Memphis, a lot of them, if they haven't been bait dogs, will get picked up and will become bait dogs. I hate to see ads on Facebook, free dogs, free puppies. The people that train fighting dogs prey on those free puppies and free, So that's where all this responsibility, right?
Sure,
like
man.
education, like
It's
people,
deeper than just food. Like it's
people
way
don't
deeper.
know.
Yeah.
And so you talk about these bad subjects and people don't want to hear it, right?
That's right.
We don't want to talk about anybody starving or anybody getting used or, you know, whether it's human trafficking or dog trafficking or whatever. Like people don't want to talk about that. It hurts, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But sometimes we have to have those tough
Well,
conversations.
that's why I got this show, man.
That's right.
So we're going to have that kind of stuff.
And that's right.
Yeah.
So, and we have to talk about it. So,
Yeah.
if you see anybody giving away dogs, tell them please don't.
Yeah.
Partner with a rescue and try to find a foster.
If you've got plenty of people in your group and you're like, hey, man, I got some mixed labs and stuff, before I take them to the rescue, would anybody be interested? It's responsible and vet the people. That's fine.
And look, and even if a rescue doesn't have room, they can at least educate you and help you.
Well, they'll try to find you another
vet.
rescue that can help you.
That's right.
I know that for a fact.
They will try to help, but like I said, they'll at least go, here's how you vet someone correctly.
Sure.
Get to know them. Don't just give them away. Don't go to Walmart and pass puppies
I
out.
will say this, though. In my experience, my daughters, by the way, they were trying to find their forever fur baby here a couple of years ago. They had a difficult time with rescues. They're almost too standoffish. Some of them are.
Some of them are, but it's and I hate to say this, and so here's my plea: like, please don't take a negative attitude.
Yeah.
But just know, most people in rescue have seen.
They've seen so much. Yeah, they've seen it all. So what they're worried about is when they have all these parameters, like you got to have a fenced-in backyard, you must have so much room in your house. It's because they know what this dog's been through.
And they're scared that all you're going to do is bring him back.
Right. They don't want that. They don't want him to have all this change in his life.
They're trying. Yeah, that's right, because that doesn't help either.
Yeah.
So they're trying to find the perfect home. And I know that doesn't always work. But again.
Well, I can tell you this. The one they found.
He's rotten, right?
Well, she was my first grand doggy, if you will, and she's a hot mess. And then they wound up getting another one, and it's been a blessing in their lives. And it drives them crazy because they're little beagles. They love beagles. You know how beagles can be. Like, they are just into everything, but they're the sweetest dogs in the world.
Right.
But and they howl. I mean, they've created a great joy, but it's a lot of work when you take a rescue from a dog that's like a pack dog. You know what I mean? He's not used to being in a house or any of that stuff. So there's a lot of training that you just have to overcome.
Look, I've got two rescues. One of mine, Fergus, he's my little English bulldog.
Oh, yeah.
And he was abandoned in a cemetery in Memphis when he was 10 months old.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes I understand why. He's a terrible little dog. But I love him.
Yeah.
And then Ginger, she's a half lab, half pit.
Yeah.
She was a bite risk. So a lot of people are scared of that.
Sure.
It takes time to work with them. But she's a princess. I thought getting a lab and having a lake in my backyard, I thought this was going to be awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she doesn't even go out when it rains. She's like, I can hold it.
Yeah,
I'm
hold
good.
it. Yeah, I'm good.
So she doesn't get wet at all. But it takes time. But I mean, you find your path with every animal, right?
Yeah.
When you get a connection, you'll find it. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And so I tell everybody, but also know that these rescues, these parameters that they put in place, they're there to protect the dog, and they're there to protect you as well. So you may not qualify for every little line item.
Well, and every rescue is a little different.
They are.
Some of them are like really guarded, and they'd much rather keep them, and if they've got the resources and make sure that they're in a good place that's getting fed and getting loved, opposed to just letting them go to anybody just to get rid of them. So that's what I try to instill in my daughter. And then when they were first going through that, they were at times very frustrated because like, man, we got so much love and we got all this space and we're just looking. I'm like, they don't know that.
They don't know.
They got to go through it. And then they got this age barrier. And I said, you're 21, and they're thinking, how responsible is a 21-year-old,
And most aren't,
Yeah.
Most times you find a parent that's like, yeah, I've still got my child's whatever.
Yeah.
I got a buddy still got his kid Snake.
Yeah,
so,
from 30 years ago, whatever.
It happens, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, they don't know that. So they got to get to know you, and you got to have references for a reason because people can go, hey, I know she's 21, but she's great. They're going to take care of that
and
animal.
I was going to say, and having a vet reference is the best thing. So,
yeah, absolutely. So if you're young out there and you're listening to this and you want to rescue, I always say go to your local animal shelters. I've been there many, many times to find pets throughout my whole life. Some of the best ones.
And they'll love you endlessly. They'll be so glad to get out of there.
Absolutely. And some of them are a little troubled for sure because they've been through a lot. We've had that happen before. And it's not always a perfect fit. That's another thing. It does happen.
It does happen. And so, look, be patient. Be patient with the animal.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can volunteer at a rescue and walk dogs and spend time with dogs and build connections.
Sure.
And then you'll know, hey, I love this dog, but I know that's not the right fit. But this one over here, every time I sit down, he's in my lap.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
And so the almost the right one will find you.
And cats will dang sure tell you whether they like you or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they're the most dogs, you'll know right away.
Yeah, and the cat hates your guts.
He will until he just figures it out eventually. So he'd be like, okay, I decided today I'm going to let you touch me for like 2 minutes. Yeah. Yep. And then I'm going to be on to being, you're not going to see me again for about a week.
Yeah, my wife is on cat Twitter. And I say there's cat Twitter because every free roaming cat that's in the Walls area comes to my house to get fed.
Yeah.
And so I we've got 4 right now. Now you talk about I'll admit publicly that I have a sunroom in the back for cats, and we put a mini split because we wanted the cats to have some air conditioning. That's right.
That's right.
So they've got to have plenty of food and plenty of air.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
They're living great lives.
So look, so even if you can do your part in your neighborhood, right? Yeah. So if you see some animals, even if you can't rescue them, if you can at least feed them, if you can give them fresh water, give them a place they can get out of the heat and out of the sun.
Yeah.
Do your part. Do anything you can. And like I said, if you want to get involved with us, we'd always love the volunteers. We're blessed that we've got one of our teachers works over at DeSoto Central, and they've got a group that partner with us and do some volunteer hours and help us out. And so there's always areas that you can be a part of, and even if we can help connect you with a rescue, that you might want to walk dogs and spend some time with animals. And they're all over the county. You'll be surprised how many rescues that you probably don't know exist that you drive by.
In your neighborhood. Every day. So, the people I found out, just a few people I know that I didn't know they did rescues till I got to their house. They were just kind of buddies of mine. Yeah. I'm like, when did you get that Doberman? Well, he's a foster. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? So I had to educate myself a little bit on that. And sure enough, they'll keep them till they find someone. Either they get healthy enough to go back to the rescue they came from, or somebody adopts them out or something of that nature. Sometimes it's a surgery thing. Sometimes
that's it. Sometimes it's just a quiet place to heal. Mm-hmm. Other times it's just a good place for them to learn some social skills and learn that people are cool and not bad. Because a lot of them may have that story that people are bad. Or people are abusive or just people don't want to be around you. And then someone fosters them, shows them love, and that could be the first time that they feel that.
Well, it's like mentoring children.
Yes.
Same type of thing.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So fostering can always lead to some great end results. And so whether you just want to foster, and that way if you tell yourself, well, I'm not really ready to own my own dog or cat, but maybe you could foster one for a little while and just, be part of that solution.
Or go to a great foster and just help them maintain them for a little bit, help volunteer them that way too.
Yeah. Volunteer at a local rescue and a shelter to help clean kennels.
Because I promise you, they need help, man.
So all the dogs that are at rescues and shelters, most of them, while they get some minimal interaction,
it's limited.
It's limited.
Yeah.
So, if you want to go volunteer and just, again, walk them, that was one of the first things my wife did was volunteer for a local, shelter and went and walked dogs every day.
Yeah.
But those dogs, of course, I probably would end up with 10 more at my house if we had room.
Yeah.
But that's okay. But you bond with them, but they bond with you. That makes them better, more adoptable dogs.
Sure.
Just getting that connection.
All he wants a love sponge.
Man,
that's all he wants.
That's it. That's all they will love you forever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's all part of what we want to do is put people with people.
Yeah.
And it's just people trying to help animals.
Well, man, I appreciate what you do and bringing the awareness to everything because it's something that's probably much needed in the community. I don't pay enough attention to the pet side of it because I'm so, I guess, entrenched in the social aspects of children and abused women or whatever, sobriety, things of that nature. But our animals are important. We need to be thinking about them as well. So that's why I wanted to have you on and kind of focus on that.
And there's just so much need everywhere, right? Yeah. And everywhere we turn.
So, I think a lot of communities have things in play I don't know if you modeled yours off of somewhere else that maybe was doing something similar, or if you just came up with an idea.
I don't know that we came up with a new concept, but I think for us it was just finding what we thought was
much like
needed.
Myself. Yeah, like how do we do more with our resources and time?
That's it.
And that's kind of what it is.
We've got X amount of time and resources, and where would it be best beneficial?
Absolutely. And then you coordinate. Like when I reached out to you, I'm like, man, I think your program is a great thing that we could have at our fundraiser to educate people on what the community is dealing with, because almost everybody's got a stray dog walking around.
Look, and we have a festival outreach. Look, we have a festival outreach kit, right? We're ready to go do.
You told
one.
me that.
Yeah,
and I'm surprised you didn't even mention it to me. But I think you were thinking I was so focused on one thing that it wouldn't fit. But I'm thinking what I want. I'm gonna have sobriety people there, House of Grace, lots of different folks, mentorship programs, the Sheriff's Department search and rescue team, people everything that's a volunteer or some kind of like nonprofit in the community. It's more of a community event. So we bring more awareness as a group to what is available in your local community. And
that's right. Not only the needs, but the availability, right? We're trying to do,
of course.
And people need to know there's someone out there.
The service providers.
That's right.
So because not only when you see PetWorx, be thinking about helping, but also using them as a resource for yourself, and maybe if you're trying to start a local rescue yourself at your house. Maybe you want to foster some kittens or something. You don't know how to get started. Reach out to Brian. Maybe he can help get you started on that path with some food security, how to work into the system. Like the communication, the education goes beyond just money. It is beyond that.
It is.
Yeah, that's the thing that keeps it moving, obviously. But you and I are resourceful enough. We know a lot of people in business that we have connected, and they believe in us enough to get behind us.
We have been blessed. There's no question. We have had some great companies.
And we forget that sometimes. Like when you're walking around your day job and you're like, God, what am I doing? So blue collar and sweaty. You do similar. You're out there in it, right? So your crews and everything, but you're not thinking about the people that you've connected with that's just looking for somewhere to help, because they don't think like we do. No. You know what I mean? They don't think, let me start my own thing, because nobody's doing that. They're just thinking, well, I'll be willing to help. I just don't know how.
That's right. That's right. And so, we always say there's places to volunteer, and if not for us,
others,
maybe for others.
Yeah.
And we're always glad to connect. Again, I love to say share the love.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's right.
Again, so many out there on their own island, and they're trying to keep what they got too, right? Because they sure can't afford to lose any support. We're not trying to take any support. We're just trying to add.
That's right. Yeah.
We just want to share that love, and so if we can put people in touch with people, and help buy more, whether it's food or more spay and neuter, more education, and we're growing. Like I said, we're not quite 2 years strong.
Man, it takes time.
It takes time.
We're 4 years into this. That program was about a decade or better old when I got involved with it. So they had I just need to get money and awareness. You're starting a whole new thing. So you had all the obstacles against you. So now we are starting up a new program, the foundation. It's going to be much like yours. It's going to be very much learning as we go and try to grow it.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many nights it took us to come up with just a name?
Yeah. Well, we got that one covered. A buddy of mine, I was thinking the same thing. It'd take forever. And then my buddy goes, well, I know what we're going to name. We're going to name after Mama. And I was like, huh? He goes, Neil, none of us would be doing that without your mom. She made us aware of all that. And that was Randy Henderson that owns RoofWorks. And he said, she's the whole reason why we're all doing this. And I was like, well, that makes sense, and she passed away last year. And so I was like, well, and I got to thinking one night, and I'm like, well, that makes sense. Everybody called her Fancy Nancy. So we'll just call it the Fancy Nancy Foundation for short,
No, that's it.
And it'd be great.
But that's obstacles that people don't know.
And
So when you start a nonprofit, and being 4 or 5 years into yours, being a year and a half into ours, we're pretty proud of where we're at.
Oh my God, man. I'm amazed by the people, the effort, the genuine, communion, I guess, if you want to use that word. I don't know how to explain it other than just people are being good and showing up and helping and wanting to help be a part of something starting like that, and don't need their shine. Like, I'm not doing any of my shine. I just couldn't find anybody else to get involved to do it,
Well, and it's funny because I'm like, even our sponsors for our spay and neuter clinic are like, we'll advertise you on social media. We'll take your logo, and they're all just like, okay.
Yeah.
And I know, but again, it's like, and I'm sure they love the shouts out.
Sure.
But no one's doing it for that. Mm-hmm. It's not about the ad time. It's really about people trying to help our community.
Absolutely.
So whether it is for yours or mine or whatever, it's like, I think there's people that genuinely they're able to help and they want to help.
Absolutely. They want to be a part of it.
I just like doing this. If there's someone out there that wants to help and doesn't know
where.
I
told you, I thought it'd be great. And you're like, man, I'd love to do that. I hadn't even thought about that. But then I thought, well, what better way? I mean, we need to let people know there's somebody out there that needs the services or be a part of it in some capacity.
That's right.
Where it's just spreading the word, giving the money, whatever we talked about. So, man, I'm loving it, man. And by the way, give your wife a personal shout out.
Thank you. My wife, Stacy, she is one of the backbones of this thing. She is our graphic artist, and she even made me my notes so that I wouldn't mess up too bad.
Wow, man, that's nice of her.
But she is, she retired. We were blessed, and she retired some years ago, and so she was able to kind of spend the time that this needs, right? Mm-hmm. Nonprofits and networking, there's a lot of work.
Man. Man.
And I got to get up every day and go to work. And so she gets up every day and puts time into this. And so it takes someone that's really determined. Yeah. And so I really do have to give kudos to my wife.
Sure.
She spends a lot of time.
You got to get up and go get the resources to even start it, because it came out of your pocket initially. And I know that. And I promise you, it probably still a good majority of it's coming out of your pocket. So,
And you're right. But I mean, if you love something, that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's okay.
Well, it's just like the show. We got involved with this about 10 months ago or so. I just had this epiphany that there's a way to get to talk to more people. And instead of just making phone calls like I was doing, I could bring them on and showcase them and spotlight them on what they're doing.
Right.
Great for the community. And I've got a little support from a couple of friends of mine, but it don't pay for everything, and RoofWorks is huge. Randy helps me with everything. But it costs way more than that, So I'm happy to pay it. I'm always looking for good partners, but it has to be the right fit. It needs to be somebody I trust, and I make sure they're going to be there with us for the long haul, and also that sees our passion in what we're trying to do. It has to be. Would I want to check from Taco Bell? Yeah, I would. I'd take it.
Right.
But I really want people doing what we do. You know what I mean? That's kind of where it's backed up. So. The passion's there.
Well, as we say, we're all locals. We're all here, right?
That's right.
This is our community.
This is our
yard. That's right.
Yeah, and you're absolutely a local yokel, Brian. You just don't know it. So
right.
we are that, and I come up with that name.
I was fixing to say, we live around the corner from each other. We really are local.
Really do. So, talking about a name for something, that was a hard one for me. Right. Because I didn't want to be named after me. I didn't want to be single focused on Feed My Lambs because you only talk about that so much, So I didn't know, and I just kept thinking, and I bounced it off one of my kids. They're like, that sounds pretty good, actually, because, and talk to everybody, and all of you don't know crap about crap, but you know a little bit about something, It's kind of funny, and it's really just community service, really. It's kind of what I was trying to focus on more than anything else. And whether it be in our elections, that we got going on, I always tell people, just go vote. That's community service. Get involved with your local,
absolutely,
your local mayor and your local alderman. Ask them to sit down and talk to you a little bit, and
if you don't know, ask.
Absolutely, I know that Horn Lake and Hernando both were, the people were just screaming for new shelters. It took them going to the right people, Chip being one of them, and probably the mayor and Horn Lake as well, to get that done. They only know what they know from the people, and
that's right. And look, and there's only so many dollars.
That's right. Yeah, they got to find the money.
Yeah, those coffers only run so deep, and God, so then it's like, what are we going to do? What's this budget? What's next year's budget?
That's right.
Believe me, they're already fighting over next year's.
Oh yeah, for sure. So all that stuff I talk about with the community service of getting involved, support, your local businesses that support us in our efforts. If you find out that somebody is donating to Brian's PetWorx and they're a local community, man, I mean, that's where you kind of need to see it that way.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's just, I do put our sponsors on our Facebook page. Please, every one of those guys I know, and the ladies, I use the term guys, but I've got men and women that are local owners.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, you're right, it's not the Taco Bells. It's all the local companies.
Yeah, man, the guys that really may not have it and they're like, well, look, dude, I'll give you $50 a month to buy some dog food. That's important. That stuff is huge, man. Yeah. It's just like with our program, or this show, every little bit counts.
Every little bit.
And they're like, yeah, it's money, money, money. Well, folks, that's what drives the world. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it is what it is.
There are disasters that are taken care of $5 at a time.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
I tell everybody, we wouldn't turn down that $5 either.
No.
Because it all makes a difference.
We're in a place, though, and I hate to dog on them, but our state leadership, it's not a place to come to for freebies. You know what I mean?
No.
It's just not. And resourcefully, I don't want it to be just give everything to everybody. That ain't what I'm trying to talk about. But for your disenfranchised and most certainly in the case of looking after our animals and our young children and our abused and taking advantage of people, there's not much. There's just not much, man.
No, so even
they will send a check back to the U.S. government for billions of dollars because they don't want to be told what to do with it. That's shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and this is why one of our biggest programs is for low income families.
That's right.
Right. And so it's like there's a second part of that sentence. It's a low cost for low income.
Yes.
Because the answer isn't that grandma on a fixed income doesn't deserve an animal to keep her company.
Man.
Right?
What about if we talk about what, you hear about emotional support dogs. Man, do you know what kind of peace and calmness that an animal can give to a person?
Absolutely.
You know this, right? My mom, before she died, I'm telling you, her animals were her saving grace, man. Yeah.
And by the way, that's another one of our things that we're going to be putting on our website that my wife, who works on everything, you got to think about putting your pets in your will.
Yeah. Who they go to.
That's right. And by the way, I didn't mean leaving them a Corvette, but I did.
No, right.
But I did. But but besides that healthcare directive, there needs to be who's going to take care of them.
Thank God she had that set up.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it needs to be about that. But grandma does deserve some companionship.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
if you can't go visit her every day,
that dog may be all she's got.
That's right. And just my mother-in-law just adopted 2 cats from my street feeder out of Memphis.
Wow.
And I'm sure that she'll complain about them.
Yeah.
But I guarantee she spends 20 hours a day with them too,
and
right?
Feeding them and petting them.
And so they hung the moon. So the elderly, the low income, like everybody deserves a little happiness, right?
Compassion.
And I would rather that doggy be in grandma's house and we have to help her a little bit with some food or something.
Than in a ditch in South Memphis.
Man, that's it.
And that happens a lot. I travel a lot with my job, and you do too, but I probably do more so. I'm crisscrossing the county, South Memphis, Tunica Tate. I'm telling you, I see so many strays. It's amazing. And I want to stop and feed them all. That's my problem. And I know if I do, I'll wind up with a truckload of dogs on my way home every day. So I just try to not do that.
So that's where all this started.
Yeah.
Was trying to help, but very quickly finding out you can get overwhelmed trying to pick one here, one there, one. Next thing you know, you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like we want to be able to be there and to help. But there's a lot of need out there.
Man, well, Brian, you'll just keep up doing the good work. You're just getting started. You're growing it. It's an amazing program you and your wife both are doing. And shout out to all your partners on it.
Man, we've got an amazing board. Like I said, I've got 2 veterinarians.
Do you want to mention out some of your board members?
Colley, you're going to put me on the spot. You know what? I'm not going to name everybody.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, not everybody's like in walls, right? Mm-hmm. So I've got a board member in North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
We've got some people in Memphis, but I do have 2 vets, a school teacher, an event planner. Mm-hmm. And, we've had animal control officers and we've had different people come and go, teachers.
Yeah.
Got an IT person to help us with our website now.
Sure.
So we're getting ready to do a new website.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just people that, and like I've even got a nurse. It doesn't matter. Like, even though she nurses on humans, she really nurses on those pets too.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I just say that it's been it's a blessing. It's a culmination of people that come from all different walks of life, but we can all come together and know there's a problem and we want to help.
Sure, and you can help many people too, and many animals. Because you're not just helping, especially like in the rescue side, you're helping the individual as well on top of the pet. So they need that help too, and somebody cares about their passion.
Sure, and we, like I said, we want everyone. If they want a pet, we want them to be able to have a pet. And vet care, like health care, is not cheap,
man.
But we want those pets to be taken care of.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. Well, I applaud it, man. Anything else you want to talk about today?
I'm just thankful that I have the gutter man, and so I love I love my own company.
Yeah.
And so that you're right. It's been a blessing and given me the ability to help start this. More importantly, the connections, whether it's with you or with other businesses, that's led me to people that would help us with this mission along the way.
Yeah. And that's going to be thegutterman.com.
The Gutter Man.
The Gutter Man. Because I tag you on Facebook a lot, and I'm like,
you do.
I'm like, the Gutter Man.
Yeah,
so
got to put that THE there.
Yeah,
the Gutter Man.
Yeah.
But we're blessed. We're going into our 49th year that it's been. I'm second generation owner. So my dad and I combined 49 years.
Yeah, you're everywhere. Y'all do a lot of stuff.
I feel like we know a little bit about gutters at this point.
A couple of things. You know about good things. I know you did the gutter covers for me that I was looking at, the gutter heads, as we called them back in the day, and it solved a lot of my issues.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
Yeah, you did a great job.
So I tell everybody, but that has given me the connections and the meeting and the people, and you know, like you, we know a lot of folks in the community. And
well, you know, and I'm not from around here. I'm an implant. So I've been around, you know, here. I mean, probably the last 30 years in and out, but 25 since I've been living here roughly. And you're just amazed. I'm always amazed of who I don't know. You know what I mean? And like I'm like, I know everybody that guy knows, you know, and he knows everybody I know, but we don't know each other.
We hadn't met.
Yeah. And I love that connection. And I always think, well, someday, you know, or I'll make it happen. Sometimes I'll just like, give me his number, you know, and I'll call him or something, you know.
No,
so
there's 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon when you live in the country,
for
right?
sure.
And
so
my wife hates to go to Walmart or Home Depot with me.
I just talking to everybody.
I'm not going to walk in or out.
My mom was that person.
Someone.
Yeah. And there's some kid usually hanging on my mom when she come in the door, you know, because she grew up or, you know, that's where she come from, the elementary school. So like she had such a unique like presence about her with her red lipstick and her hair always done up to the nines, and they just flocked to her.
I should say they gravitated to her.
They did.
That's right.
So it was either me or her, one. And as I've been taking more, not with the kids, but like just people in general, talking to them a lot, just, you know, people from businesses and everything else you've done. But hers was kids. And I mean, it wasn't even probably a week before she passed away. We were at dinner and somebody got up and walked out and they waved, and I noticed she was talking to him, and I went to go get the check, and some guy said, "Oh, no, they took care of that for you."
Yeah.
He said, that was his teacher, and he's going to take care of her dinner. I'm like, what? I'm like, man, it's so great. Thank you. You know, and, but it goes because the impact she had on people. And then it goes back to, just again, that community service, being community minded.
Well, teachers are a blessing too, right? And so that's where your mom was. She touched a lot of the community. Yeah. So, you know, even though that's a job, that's still, man, that's
she was down there even like retirement. You know, she was more of just an assistant type thing, but she made sure that they was all fed and clothed beyond school, you know, and that was a big thing, and give them attention and love on them, you know, and the same way with animals, you know, they just need that attention. Like, it's your personality. They can read right through you.
So you know, it's funny because, you know, everybody that's a dog, you know, in rescue always says, you know, my dog will judge you.
Yeah,
like, you know, I can meet you, but my dog will let me know if I should trust you, right?
That's right.
Because your dog will read right through you.
Have you seen the thing? I think it's, and I heard this a while back. It's Kevin Hart, the comedian, and it's a conversation I think he's talking about. And he goes, "Your dog biting?" He goes, "Not me."
Yeah, not me. That's right.
He don't bite me.
I don't worry. You know, but if you don't like dog hair, don't come to my house.
Yeah, well, that's all of us, you know. So now I do have a dog that doesn't shed much. He's a full size poodle, and I like that about him because he doesn't shed a lot. Yeah. So but he eats things he shouldn't, you know. So his shoe, something,
trash, anything,
anything that's not his brown rocks, as my wife calls them.
Right,
you know? So
that's right.
That's the last resource he's going to, you know.
But that's okay. You put some bacon grease on whatever it is, they'll eat it.
Man, the bacon treats are huge, and they're cheap. I mean, if he wants to live off of them, feel free. I don't care. I'll let him have a whole bag of them if that's what he wants. But,
that's right.
Brian, thank you again for coming in today. We're
Neil,
talking about the PetWorx program. Derek will put all the stuff in the outro to the show, so we'll be able to link all your information in there.
We appreciate it.
And look forward to seeing you at this year's fundraiser and anything we can do to promote your program and what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity.
Man.
And we're ready to be at the festival too. We're looking forward to that.
Absolutely. October 11th.
Be cooler.
Yeah, it will be. It will be a little cooler. That's what my plan was by pushing it back a little bit this year on October 11th instead of having it in like mid-September. You know, I just kind of each year I've pushed it back a week, and finally we're here. And I think this may be the max that we can get to because they have some other festivals they do at the church.
Yeah, Fall Fest. I'm sure.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
No, that's great.
So as you remember, we're giving away the truck. So I want to remind people about that, how to get involved with that. You can call me personally, 662-404-2364, or you can go onto the website of Minor Memorial. It'll be minormemorial.org/lambs. And you can reach them at 662-781-1333. You can pay electronically that way. We have some other ways too that you can pay, or you can just pay in cash, just whatever you choose. Multiple ways. We'll be selling tickets all the way up to the show that day. And Brian's got this, he's convinced he's going to win it. So
we're going to find out.
Yeah. He's going to buy a ticket.
I'm going to buy one for sure.
Yeah, and he's going to show up and buy some chicken products from My Ties, he said.
Yep.
So that day, because he don't eat pork. So we got to leave him out of that case. So you've been healthy. You're just trying to be healthy.
That's right. And
the guys who helped me the most on this, RoofWorks Roofing Company, I couldn't even do the show or the fundraiser without them, just to be clear. They're amazing. Randy Hendrickson and Kay Hendrickson. So with their support, it's why we do what we do. So I thank them for that, and reach out to them at roofworksmidsouth.com. Logos are up. And again, guys, thanks for joining us. We spotlighting everybody in the community that's trying to do great things for DeSoto County and surrounding areas on the Local Yokels Podcast. Talk to you later. Bye.